Welcome to the weather forecast for the week beginning Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. I'm Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth for Longmont Public Media, and again in another new location. I'm always on the move. Our next lunar phase for this week occurs Saturday, August 7th. We have a new moon rising in the early morning near sunrise and setting around sunset. Taking a look at drought, we have good news. So this is last week's drought report. Pay attention to the western and southwestern part of the state. We see significant relief from the rainfall that occurred. We got even more rain on the western slopes after this. Our largest area is still up in the northwest. We have a fire still up there, and we definitely need more moisture to make it northward. Looking nationwide, we have significant drought relief not only in Colorado but in New Mexico and Arizona, but a worsening of the drought on the west coast and across the northern states as we go from last week to this. Looking at that fantastic rainfall, we had yellows here, 2 to 3 inches, so widespread areas of 2 to 3 inches. Right down to the southwest part of the state, you have at least ½ inch to 2 inches in many places. The Northeast Plains, though, didn't get much, but they are not having drought problems right now at all. So the story is, we're still watching this west coast and western U.S. ridge. The ridge center is just west of the state. The circulation center is down over Arizona. We have north winds starting this forecast period. The rain showers on Tuesday were caused by this slowly passing trough. And there's another one digging in, but it isn't as significant as the one that we just had. The big story is that the moisture plume is being pushed around away from Colorado right now. So there's moisture in the western states, moisture down in Mexico, and then up in the Great Plains, but we have dry air circulating around right now. Taking a look at the moisture of the water vapor satellite, you can see how much dry air is making it into the state. Even though there's some high clouds here, this is pretty dry over the eastern plains. So let's take a look at smoke. With the ridge center out west, that is bringing stuff down from the north. We have that north flow, so even though we start with a little bit lighter smoke load, it definitely is going to pick up over the next few days. Taking a look at surface smoke, you can see it's pretty good in the western states at the beginning here, but as we get into Thursday into Friday, yeah, there's a lot of surface smoke making it down, and then it gets really yucky. So you'll probably notice that, maybe even smell it later in the week at the beginning of this period. So looking at storm chances, that ridge is going to really exert itself without moisture being in place. On Wednesday we have some chance of showers. Thursday it's limited to the southwestern part of the state. You could still get a stray storm or two, especially if a little moisture is lingering. So I keep a very low chance of rain for Thursday. Storm chances pick up a little bit more on Friday, but again, severe stuff is far from our state. So over the next 10 days, we have a normal high temperature from 89 dropping to 88, 60 to 59 for a normal low, and definitely at the beginning of this forecast period in the weekend, we have a dry spell. Some of the model runs have some storms on the 7th, but we'll see. So that storm chances on the 7th come as the low passes, and it's staying pretty much north of the state. You can see the little trough axis coming down here, but without moisture for it to act on, it's just going to go by too quickly. I don't think we're going to get a lot out of that. So here's our moisture. You can see very dry, precipitatable water values very low over most of Colorado. So over the next 10 days, keep an eye on this ridge and the interaction with the trough. For Friday, push the button just a little too sensitive there. So you can see on Saturday, this trough passes. See the ridge down here, western states, the center down over Arizona, another trough passing by through the northern states. We're still under the ridge. It's not as strong until now. You can see it reestablishing itself by next Thursday, and then boom, big ridge late next week. That could mean by the middle of the month we're seeing hundreds again. Okay, taking a look at temperatures. This is the departing trough that gave us the Tuesday showers. You can see it's really creating unusually cool Great Plains in Texas for the summer, this persistent trough. I see thunderstorms firing in the afternoon, but they are well east of the state. Here's our abnormal heat Monday and Tuesday, especially east of the mountains. That's some pretty warm air. Going into Wednesday, Thursday, the west is baking again. Most of the nation gets pretty hot. A little monsoon down here in the desert southwest, but not making it much into Colorado. And that's all because of what the moisture is doing. So here's our dry air going to Friday, and then Saturday. You see just that big plume that we've had for a couple months, it seems, is kind of taking a break. It's out in the plains, it's in the west, it's in the desert southwest. You can see it really kind of pushing up. You also notice that near the end of the cycle here next week, there's a tropical system that's emerging. It was visible in the other maps, and it's easiest to see here. And that seems to be contributing to some of that monsoonal flow out west. Looking just for a moment at the convection and the precipitation over the next few days, we are mostly dry. Little showers pop up in the afternoon, Friday and Saturday, and then all the big stuff stays way out over Kansas, Missouri. We are dry for day after day. There's the return of the storminess in the southwest by middle next week. So over the next 5 days, we're not expecting to see much statewide. This is just a little scattering of stuff. Add 5 more days, and down in New Mexico and southwest, we see some rain, but nothing really happens up here. Storm could still hit and get something in your neighborhood, but it is not very likely. So we're hovering near normal at the beginning of the forecast period. Friday, the ridge is kind of sitting over our heads, pulls in a little moisture, but with that heat, you get a little chance of storms. More in the mid to upper 90s, back to normal for Saturday, and then the beginning of next week, we go a number of degrees above normal, almost 10 degrees above normal on Monday. And we cool down with another little trough passing on Tuesday, also giving us a return of a small chance of storms. Let's take a look into the future and the past before we wrap up this week. This is our July outlook for temperatures from Noaa, and they had us a good chance of being above normal temperature-wise. We certainly hit 100 and upper 90s a few times, but overall we were pretty darn cool. We had a northerly fetch. The ridge was further west than they might have expected. For precipitation, we were definitely above normal. They had us in equal chances of drier or wetter than normal, but we did get plenty of rain. So looking out into the next month, I'm going to have to switch to a different graphical source here, sorry, but at least you can, got friends in Alaska, you can see what they're expecting. They are calling for us to be above normal in temperatures and equal chances of precipitation again. We'll take a look at the end of the month and see what happened. One more thing. Taking a look at the El Nino, La Nina, or neutral state of the Pacific. And for April, we had this sort of mean fit here. This green line was pretty close to neutral, and that probably helped with the return of moisture coming out of La Nina. And looking from July forward, these are in 3-month groupings, like so it's June, July, August, July, August, September, October. That's how they work on these. So that was March, April, May, next year. And they have us very close to neutral going all the way through the winter months and on into next year. So kind of what you see is what you're going to get, at least from that one climate signal. For frequent weather updates and local news, check out longmontleader.com. I got my column over there that I update a lot. This has been your weather forecast for this week. I'm Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth. Keep looking up.